hair is like 10 types of crazy today. I washed it yesterday. I did an everything shower, which I literally have to put on my calendar because it takes so freaking long. And then my workout class, even though it was my strength training class and like I don't sweat as much as when I'm doing the other cardio stuff, I still sweat. And then my hair was looking crazy. Like I could not wear it straight. So I had to curl it. And then it is just being all sorts of bananas. Anyways, not the point of what we're going to talk about today. What we are talking about today is that I keep hearing, and I feel like this is not even a new thing. I've been hearing this for decades, but like the industry is saturated. And it's not just the entertainment industry. It's every industry, but depending on what industry you want to get into, I keep hearing like, oh, but like there's just so many actors and there's so many writers and everyone is doing voiceover these days and there's so many content creators and oh, but everyone has a podcast and gosh, like, I mean, do we really need more copywriters or website designers or there's so many photographers? Like it can feel like 8 million people are living the life that you want to live. And there's no way in hell there's even a smidgen of a space left for you to start or to find your place in the arena you want to be competing in. Not only that, not only is there not space for you, but how the hell are you going to be successful in this crazy saturated market? It can feel like you've started too late, like your industry is already flooded with so many talented people who've been in the game longer than you, have the tips and tricks, have the tools, have the experience, and like what would make you stand out in this space? Stop yourself before you're ahead. You shouldn't even start. And I hear you, but are you in or not? I feel like there's all these people always like sitting on the precipice about like debating whether they should dive fully in, or they, even if they did kind of dive in, they still kind of keep themselves on this little line of like, but I'm not fully in yet, and just waste so much time and energy walking this fine line of being fully fucking in or not. And here's the thing, other people are going to be fully in. Other people are going to be starting today, regardless of how many people are already pursuing the thing that they want. This is going to be someone's day one. It's going to be many people's day one. So whether you're too afraid to start the thing that's kind of been on your mind or fluttering in your heart, the thing that you're most excited about, or you've started and you're in the game, but shit started to get a little bit hard and the space, it just seems crowded and it's nothing is feeling like you belong, like you're not having that validation yet. Today, we're calling out all of the excuses that are keeping you on the sidelines, which in return keeps you playing small and is keeping you stuck. Welcome to Get Messy, the mindset space for creatives to build sustainable and successful careers without losing their sanity. I'm Maddie, a professional performer of over a decade, and I'm currently in grad school to become a therapist. And I am the friend who isn't afraid to dig deep, and I will never BS you about what it takes to stay in the game. Your dream is real. The desire that you feel for this dream is totally there. But the excuses that are coming up, the fear that's coming up as to why you shouldn't start or why you shouldn't go all in, feels just as real as your desire does. The fears are legitimate. I have felt them too. I wanted to start this podcast that you're listening to right now. Thank you so much for listening. Please follow, rate, subscribe. So I always like love when people do that. They give like the little shout out in the middle, but no, really, like please rate, subscribe, follow along. This podcast you're listening to right now, I wanted to start 2 years before I actually started it. But in my head, it was like everyone had already started a podcast and I probably missed the boat on when I should have started. Ooh, we love shoulds, don't we? And lo and behold, the desire to start a podcast never left and I still did it anyways. And guess what? When I started 2 years later, there were a lot more podcasts in the market from when I had the initial desire to when I actually had the courage to go for it. Same thing with grad school. I had it mulling in the back of my mind for 2-ish years. Now I'm realizing it as I'm saying this with the podcast and the grad school examples that both of them were 2 years. So I wonder if this is a pattern within myself between when I have the initial desire and start doing the research to when I actually have the courage to go something. So something for me to note as I'm relaying this all to you. But I had been thinking about it for 2 years and I had a myriad of excuses and fear that was coming up. It didn't necessarily feel like the right time. Was my why behind going to grad school strong enough to actually commit to it? It seemed like such a plot twist and pivot from the path that I was on. Could I still pursue voiceover and my creative pursuits while going to school? How would my life shift in a positive way? What would I have to sacrifice? It seems like everyone is becoming a therapist. I did know a lot of actors at the time that were becoming therapists. And 2 years later, here I am finishing my second semester of grad school, loving it and wishing I started earlier because I would almost be graduating right now if I dove in when I first started taking that desire seriously. And that's the thing I want to say. Timing is, I feel like, always divine and always aligned. Like I'm doing it on the right timing for me. I believe that. I don't believe I was supposed to do it 2 years ago. I believe that I'm supposed to do it now. My whole point is that I'm just glad I had the courage to ever dive in, because now that I'm in it, doing the podcast, doing grad school, both things feel so right and so aligned and are giving me so much into my life. That is a gift that I hope that I would have never denied from myself. And I feel like I luckily found the courage eventually. And I'm trying to be mindful because there are so many great things and opportunities in my life that I don't want to keep myself from what I will gain and the gift that I will gain by having the courage to go after them. So like that's the antithesis underneath it all. It's not that like, oh, I feel so bad about, I wish I didn't start earlier. It's not that. It's more, I still had the desire. I just didn't have the fucking courage. And now I have the courage and now I'm in it. And I'm like, oh, it was aligned the whole time. My fear was just standing in the way. So this episode is not about toxic positivity or being really spontaneous and just fully going after every desire you feel the moment it pops up and just going blindly after those things. It's about getting honest about the obstacles in your way and the fear and the things that are keeping you on the sidelines. So the first excuse that we all hear is like the saturated market excuse. And here's the thing. Every industry feels saturated from the outside looking in. Like whether you want to start a production studio, you want to be an actor, you want to start a podcast, you want to be a photographer. Like there are a million photographers. There are a million actors. I'll use a dentist as an example. My mom's a dentist. In her town that she's a dentist in, I think there's something crazy. This is what she said. So like, I should do my own fact checking here, but I think there's something crazy like 43 dentists in like what is a relatively small suburb of northern Chicago. 40 fucking 3 dentists. Like that's a ton of dentists for the population that exists in that area. And guess what? She still has clients. She's actually been busier than she's ever been in her entire career. And she's been in the same office, the same situation essentially. And people still find their way to her. And she's had a really robust career the entire time, despite the market getting busier and busier. And guess what? There's new people coming to work at her office that are brand new out of school, becoming dentists and like finding their way to clients. So it's like, and truly anything that you really want to do in any industry, in any market, unless you are creating something so diabolically unique, there's going to be some element of saturation into it. And it is going to feel especially saturated when you're not in it and able to kind of start being in community, learning more about the inner workings of things and starting to feel immersed into like the nitty gritty of what it actually is. The outside, it's always going to feel like, wow, this feels complicated. This feels convoluted. This feels like there's so many people doing it. Always. Here's the crazy part. Other people are going to dive in and live the life you want, regardless of whether you do. Let me say that again. Other people are going to dive in and live the life you want regardless of whether you do. Someone else is going to start that podcast, write that book, build that career, or go after that thing that you want to go after. The market isn't too full because any market that you want to go to, and I know this is going to sound so cheesy and cliche, but it's true, it's missing your specific voice. It's missing your perspective. It's missing your experience. And there's so many examples. Like think if you're going to find a photographer for a brand shoot that you have, you will type in brand shoot photographer and you'll be flooded with a bajillion people. And out of all those people, all of a sudden you're going to start curating a smaller list of like 5 or 3 that you really like. And then out of those 5 or 3, you're going to hire one. Why did you like that person compared to all of the other people essentially offering the exact same service? It was something about their unique offer, their unique perspective, their unique voice that you connected to and hired that brand photographer versus all of the other ones. Can you imagine if that brand photographer didn't start because there were so many other brand photographers? No, like you picked them because of their unique perspective. And now you're getting a great service from them. Can you imagine if like they didn't have the courage to start? I'll use grad school as another example. We had a skills class in my first semester. And so it's like learning the very, very, very basic skills of what you need in a counseling session working with a client. And out of all the people in my class, we're all different ages, we're different cultural backgrounds, we live in different states, we come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Like we could all not be more different. And then we're here learning the exact same skill sets. And when we were working on the skills and doing the sessions, all of us are good at different things and we're good in our own unique ways. And what's so funny is like, we're doing the same things, but the skills look and feel totally different based on which one of us is doing it. And it doesn't make any of us better or worse because we have our own unique vibe and unique thing that we're bringing to the table, so to speak. And so even though like we're learning the exact same thing, we're going to the exact same school, we're learning from the exact same teacher, we're taking these skills and the way that we're all using them is unique because it's your unique perspective and unique vibe and sensibilities are using it. And we're all going to go out into the marketplace and become therapists. And the person who hires me is going to want to hire me based off my unique thing that they connect to. And that person probably wouldn't want to hire peer 1, peer 2, or peer 3, even though they're great. They might even be better than me. Who knows? But they didn't connect to whatever it was about them. And there's going to be people that are perfect for peer 1, peer 2, or peer 3 that like, they're not going to vibe with me. They would look at my website and be like, yeah, not my cup of tea, not my flavor that I'm looking for. And again, same thing with podcasting. Like if you look at all the podcasts that you like them for their specific tone and reason. And so finding your voice can take some time. Another thing I've heard, another fear I've helped is like, well, I don't know what is unique about me. I don't know my unique perspective. Like I don't know what would make me a unique photographer or a unique actor or a unique writer or what would be different about me doing voiceover or any of those things. And sometimes you have to learn that in the doing. Like you sitting down there and thinking about it and hoping the answer comes to you is not going to be the thing. If you listen to episode 1 of this podcast, which like, you don't have to do that. It's okay. I'm a totally different person than I was then just because I've lived so much more life and I've gotten so much better at doing this. And guess what? If you listen to an episode a year from now, it's going to be totally different. Who knows like what I'll be talking about or what will be like operating my brain space or how I'll have grown as a person and how that will impact the way that I tell stories. Like your voice can take time to find it, but it has to come from the doing. And I also think sometimes it's not even about crafting or creating your voice or trying to like nail down this thing that makes you super unique and special. It could also be about going through the motions, taking action, like letting your voice be revealed instead of trying to like force it into a box and like force it into like a log line or a tagline of like what makes you unique. It could also be a process of like needing to show up like time and time again and letting it slowly be revealed to you. For a couple things in my life, that's personally felt more like the trend of what's happened rather than me trying to like, I've tried to be like, what is A plus B equals C when it comes to like the Maddie logline of like, what makes me different as a voiceover artist or what makes me different as a podcaster? And it's like, I think I've always needed those things to be revealed to me through time and experience. And the thing is, the question was never the space is crowded. We know the spaces are crowded. So the question isn't like, is the market saturated? Like we know that it is. The question that you really need to be asking yourself is whether or not you're going to be a part of it. It doesn't matter that it's saturated. It doesn't matter that it's big and messy and full of other people. Are you going to be one of those people that is actively engaging in it? The next excuse that I hear all the time, and I've said it to myself too, is the I should have started earlier excuse. Oh, if I just started earlier. And I think we need to unpack the grief that lives in this one. I get it. Like sometimes when I think about like, oh, if I just started this thing too much, like where would I be if I started the podcast 2 years ago? Where would I have been if I was almost graduating grad school versus just starting on my journey? And again, go back to the beginning of the episode when I do believe timing is all divine and aligned, but there's like some grief where I'm like, my life would look totally different. Good, bad, wrong, right, and different. I don't know, but it would be completely different. But if you never start, you can end up grieving the life that you've been wanting to live. My mom is in her 60s and my mother-in-law is turning 75 this year. And I see them both doing so much processing about the things they have done in their lives, even more so the things they haven't done yet in their lives. And they're both battling in different ways with what they have the time, energy, and resources to do. And guess what? A lot of their desires have never gone away. A lot of their desires have actually only gotten deeper and grown bigger as they've gotten older. But my God, it is so much harder for them to try to go after some of the things at their age now than when they were 40 or 50. Is it impossible? No. It is not impossible. But the obstacles have gotten indefinitely larger and more complicated and more challenging. But the desire is still there. They just are battling with the fact that it's taken them so long to find the courage. And then now, if they're finding the courage, how do they take on these obstacles that are bigger and scarier and like even can be more fear-inducing than they were even 10 years ago? And here's the thing, starting earlier isn't an option anymore. It's not an option. You can't start earlier, but you can start now. And we hear this all the time, right? Like, oh, the best time was then, but the second best time is today. It is true because you don't know if you're going to get it tomorrow. And God, you have to wrestle with that within yourself. What if you didn't get it tomorrow and you didn't spend today starting on that thing? Another thought is staying stuck in the regret of you not starting sooner is just another way of you not starting. It's just another thing that you're doing to distract yourself and to procrastinate instead of taking the energy that you're using to focus on the regret of not starting sooner and putting that energy towards actually starting. And every day you spend wishing you started sooner is another day one that you're postponing. And I want you really quick to think about people that you admire. Let's actually take someone who's in the specific industry that you want to be a part of, that you admire, their career, you admire what they do, like you vibe with them. Every single person that you admire had a day one. Every single person whose podcast you tune into wishing it was your own had a day one. Every actor on your TV screen had a day one. Every person creating content had a day one where they had no idea what they were doing. And they're like, how am I going to edit this reel together? All those people, they had a day one. They had a day where they were freaked out and started anyways. They had a day where they were starting from nothing. They had a day where they had no idea what they were doing. They had a day one, and yours is just today. Every single person you admire had started with a blank resume. No one waltzed out of the womb being successful. Every single person who was having that day one had a moment where they knew nothing. They had nothing, and they had no guarantee it was going to work. They were afraid to start, but their courage didn't let them give in to that fear. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have a set roadmap, but they made the sacrifice to begin before they ever saw the glory. They built self-trust by showing up before they felt ready. They got resilient by doing the thing while they were still terrified. The only thing that separated them from everyone else was the decision to go after it anyways. It was their courage. That was the differentiator. The only difference between them and you right now is that they decided, if not me, then who? And all those people, they did not have a big flashing sign as they began this journey that said, this is all going to be worth it. There was no guarantee, and they still chose with their courage to go after it anyways. And so the thing is, if you have this desire and it's burning inside of you, and everything I'm saying is probably not new. You've probably heard some of this messaging a million times over before. I'm just packaging it in the way I'm packaging it. And so as you're processing all this information, what are you really waiting for? Because I think sometimes most of us aren't waiting for the right moment. Like we say that, right? Like it doesn't feel like the right time or all this stuff's going on. And I don't even think it's that we're waiting for the right moment. I think so much of us are waiting for permission. And I just got off a podcast session today. I recorded it today with Stella Stephanopoulos, and we talked about exactly this, how the thing that she's learning to trust about herself is when she has a thing that she wants or a decision that she's trying to make, to lean into herself first and try to give herself the answer she's looking for and not get permission or validation from the people around her first before she's giving herself permission and validation to go for it. Nobody is going to give you the permission that you're looking for. Because, guess what? When I was trying to start a podcast or thinking about it and doing all my research on how to start a podcast and all of that jazz, I had a billion people tell me, oh my God, you'd be great. Yeah, you should absolutely start a podcast. So I was even given permission from other people. And even those people would say it. And because my fear was so loud and my doubt was so loud, I was like, what if they're lying to me? What if they're lying to me because they're afraid to tell me that whatever, the industry is so saturated and everyone has a podcast now. You should have started 8 million years ago. So I was even given permission, and it still didn't fucking matter because I didn't give myself the permission. No one's permission is ever going to feel as valid as the permission you are going to give yourself. You are waiting for certainty that is never going to fully arrive. If you think about anything in your life that you had to go after, I guarantee you had to take a leap or a jump to go after this thing that you want without knowing for sure. There's no certainty in life. There's no fucking guarantees in life. Even if you were saying yes to a full-time job at a corporate company, they could fire you. You might be taking saying the safe answer and saying yes, but it doesn't mean that that's necessarily the more certain answer. It's really not. There's still things out of your control for sure. So you're waiting for certainty that's never going to fully arrive. The people who are in the arena that you're trying to play in, or the business that you want to be a part of, they didn't feel more ready. They just stopped waiting to feel ready because they started freaking doing it. And then lo and behold, they were doing it. So they didn't have to wait to feel ready any longer. So part of this is that it's not just about taking the action. There is an identity shift that is required. You have to start seeing yourself as someone who does the thing before the results prove it. You have to start seeing yourself as a courageous person. You have to start seeing yourself as someone who puts it all out there, which is a very vulnerable thing to do, knowing that they're going to make a sacrifice and they will not know if it's going to be worth it. I like to think that everything is worth it, because even if we do not get the results that we want, we learn so much. And to me, that's worth it. To me, like those learning lessons from my perceived failures or things that didn't quite go the way I thought, I carry with me probably more than any win that I've ever had, because again, it just teaches me so much. So how can you start viewing yourself as the person who does the thing now, the person who gives themselves the permission to start the thing, the person who doesn't need that external validation, but is giving them the external validation and telling themselves, this desire to go after is much more important to me than any perceived failure I could have. Starting this process means more to me than anything else. So that identity of being the person who gives themselves permission, gives yourself the validation, starts the thing before they're ready, before they have this sign that it's all going to be worth it, and is willing to make the sacrifice knowing they may never get the results that they want. There is a cost to waiting. There's a very real cost to continually pushing off and waiting to feel ready and waiting for the courage to appear for you to start the thing that you want to start. Someone else is going to start that podcast and write that book and build that career. The world doesn't pause while you try to talk yourself into doing this thing. The world keeps moving, and they do not wait for you to be ready and for you to finally feel like you've worked it all out internally to begin. Inaction has a cost that we rarely calculate. The cost of inaction is the cost of an unlived version of your life. When you don't take action, you are putting a vote into one version of your life. And when you take action, you are putting a vote to a different version of your life. And so there is this desire that you have. And when you are not putting a vote towards taking action towards that desire, that is like an unlived life swirling inside of you. And you are essentially costing yourself the opportunity to ever get a chance to experience or live that life. Both the hardships and the challenges of it, and the glory and the possibility that can come with it. And I'm going to go back to my mom and my mother-in-law, like two incredible women who have achieved a lot in their lives. But right now, both of them are paying a high cost for a few very specific dreams that they have that have stuck with them for decades. And it's almost like these dreams have the potential to become nightmares because the desires are screaming at them louder than they ever have before. And guess what? They still don't feel ready. They still don't have the courage, but it's becoming more and more unignorable. And let me tell you, the thing you're thinking about wanting to start right now, how it plays over and over in your head, it's like waking you up at 3 a.m. It's begging for you to pay attention to it. It's popping into your head while you're meditating or you're driving. Now imagine that thought popping into your head for decades. And now you're retired with a lot more time on your hands, and that thought never stops playing. And I'll say it again, talk about a dream possibly turning into a nightmare. Talk about this unlived life swirling around inside of you, possibly forever. Makes me want to throw up right on top of my microphone right now. So in exploring all of this, the question underneath all of this is, if not you, then who? If not you, your own special, unique perspective and voice, then who? There is someone out there who needs your voice, your perspective, what you want to sell, how you want to do it, your unique stories and life experience that you bring into it. And you are hindering that person from ever getting that experience. So if not you, then who? And I want you to sit genuinely with that question. If not you, then who? And I'm not saying this as a pressure tactic. None of this episode was supposed to be like a pressure tactic of like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? I have to like go do this thing right now. It's really, really not it at all. It's more of an invitation to sit with these desires that you have, take them really seriously, and take yourselves seriously. Take the fact that like you have this desire in you for a very specific reason. I do not believe anything is unintentional or misaligned when it comes to our dreams and our desires. And you deserve to take it seriously, and you deserve to take yourself seriously, that you are worthy of walking down this path and having the courage to go after it and go after it boldly. I've expressed some of the things that, and there's been many, many other things that have been a desire inside of me that's been gnawing at me to pay attention to it. I felt that way when I was starting to act for the first time. I felt that way with podcasting. I felt that way with writing my own scripts and creating my own projects and getting those projects into film festivals or submitting them for the first time, and going when I got my life coaching certification and signing up for that program and going to grad school. Like there's been so many things that have been deep, deep, deep held desires inside of me that I was afraid to start. And I almost tried to find excuses and reasons to not start them. But the desire was so deep inside of me. And thank God for all of those things. I found the courage. There was going to be so many other things in my life that I'm going to come up against that thing being like, no, 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 no. How can we say no to this? But I know I have to say yes. And I have to figure out how to find that courage to keep going after the things that scared me. And I know you have things in your brain. You have already done this before. You are already resilient. There are things that you have resisted that you eventually went after, and you're sitting there like, thank God I took that chance on myself and I went for it. And now I'm asking you, because there's a new thing. We always have another deep burning desire within us, or it's like taking the thing that we're doing to the next level. And we have to usually take some action that we're really afraid to take to get to that next level of where we want to go. And so in all of that, I just want you to bet on yourself and to take that chance, and know that in taking that chance, you will find deeper connections with people, more community. You're going to build more self-trust, which builds more confidence. You're going to have a budding network of all the people that you're going to meet and come in contact with. You're going to have new career opportunities and more creativity in your life. The possibilities are endless. When you think about what saying yes does in all of this, the possibilities are endless. And when you think about what saying no looks like, there's kind of only one result. We don't know what saying yes could bring us. It could bring us a wealth of knowledge and friendships and community and money and all these things. But we know what saying no will get us. We know what turning our cheek away from this desire will get us. We already have that answer. So if you want to play small and stay safe, you have that answer, but you don't want to. You wouldn't, well, you definitely wouldn't be listening to this far into the podcast because I've been rambling a little bit if you didn't want to take that chance on yourself and didn't want to say yes to this thing. So what is that thing that you've been putting off? What is that thing that is just gnawing at your brain, gnawing at your heart, just begging you to pay attention to it? And what can you do today to stop waiting and to start? I know you can do it. You've already done it before. You can do it again. How can you tap in to the teeniest bit of courage and just show yourself that you are betting on yourself and you can make this happen? I am rooting for you today and always, and I cannot wait to see what you create or what you go after. You're the real hero if you've made it this far. Thanks so much for hanging out today, and check out the show notes for any resources or cool info mentioned in today's episode, or places to follow along if you want to hang out some more. I'm rooting for you today and always. Stay messy.